Welcome to FunNGun. Just figured since I kept seeing people talk about it being Glocktober, I figured I better go ahead and take the opportunity to make a video on the only Glock that I actually have, and that is the custom 17L build here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this is not going to be for everyone, and this build was more of a fun build just to put something together. I always wanted a 17L, did not really want to spend the money on a regular 17L just to have a stock Glock and then have to spend money on top of it. And kind of what fueled the fire to build this gun is the fact that I picked this Gen 3 Glock 17 up for 350 bucks. It was a used police trade-in. This was not a fish scale gun. You can't get the, I think they call it the RDF frame here. It is a police gun without having to have the special edition. And I call this the Glock and a half, or the 3.5, 3.5 Glock, whatever you want to call it, because this was right towards the end of them doing away with the Gen 3, or moving to the Gen 4. Obviously, they never completely done away with the Gen 3. I believe that's due to the fact that it is on the registry in California. So Gen 3 is still around, still one of the best Glocks you can get for that matter, I guess. But that is the reason that it has this grip on it. I did not take apart one of the collectible guns with the fish scale slides. So yeah, don't hate on me for that. But I do prefer this grip over a regular 19. It just looks good, feels good in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and show you this gun is unloaded. We're going to drop the magazine out of this particular gun. We'll talk about a few of the things I've done to this gun and a few things that still bothers me about this build. Number one, I guess, really being the fact that for some reason, everything else here, as you can tell, has a nice gold tint to it, and that's got kind of more of a bronzy brown color to it, and that is a Glocktober gold magazine release, extended magazine release that is. And, well, as you can see there, in my opinion, it sticks out like a sore thumb. I'll probably eventually get my buddy over at Beaverdale Gun and Pawn to go ahead and Cerakote that, just a better color of gold that it matches everything on this gun a little bit better, because ever since I put that on there, it bugs me. Now, I will say, Timney trigger does have a red trigger shoe in it, or the trigger dingus in it. They do make a gold one. I'm not going to go back and spend the money to buy a whole new trigger just because they come out with the gold dingus after I built this. I do kind of prefer the gold, but I think it looks okay. This just fact that it's supposed to be gold and it's not really bugs me. That being red, not so much. While we're talking about the trigger here, this, like I said, is a Timney trigger gun. It is unloaded. This is, in my opinion, the best Glock trigger you can get. You got just that little bit of take up, hit a nice wall, break, nice reset there. This trigger's around 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds, and it is a reliable trigger. Now, we'll get into that a little bit more once I take the slide off this and show you the insides of it. Because when I first put this in, I did have a few issues, which you're not supposed to with the Timney, and I haven't never had that issue on my Zev build that has the same trigger in it. So, like I said, we'll get into that more in a second. Let's go ahead and show you the rest of the outside of this gun before we get into the inside of it. So, you got an extended slide release here. I can't remember exactly who makes that. I don't think it was Glocktober, but the Glocktober does make the gold pins that are in this gun. So, that is kind of disappointing that this does not match the parts that they actually make themselves. So, just putting that out there, kind of not very good on their half. So, you got the extended slide release, slide stop there. You come up here to the top. This is a Zafre Precision 17L slide. Can't remember exactly which variation this is, but it's the one that's got all the windows down both sides and got the large window, kind of like the factory 17s or the older 34s have. The coffin cut, I guess is what I believe they call that. And inside that cut is a Lone Wolf Precision, or Lone Wolf, just Lone Wolf barrel. It is the fluted one, so it does look pretty good. I would have went with the actual Zafre barrel that was ported, but they did not have that barrel in stock when I did this. So shot this gun for a while with a non-ported barrel, and then I finally had my buddy Phil over at Beaverdale Gun and Pawn go ahead and pop 5 holes into the top of it, right dead in the center of the window cut there, and that does work quite well. In my opinion, it also looks pretty good as well. On top here, you got a set of Dawson Precision competition Glock sights, and it is RMR cut, but I don't have any intentions of putting an RMR on it. That's just the way the slide come. I did build this as a 17L, and I figured it's kind of stupid to put a red dot on it and not take advantage of the longer sight radius here, so that's exactly what we did. And got the red one on the front here because that is my preference, because high majority of the competition guns I've bought over the years that have a fiber optic always has red, so I usually end up setting them up that way when I put them together as well. So that is the top half of the gun. On the outside, let's go ahead and move on to the very bottom here. This is a brass magwell, and it does actually tie in pretty good with the gold there. That was the idea behind that. It's not a very large magwell, but also the fact that it is brass gives it a little bit of better balance for the gun, bring a little weight towards the bottom. And on top of that, underneath the plug here in the back cavity of the grip, I went ahead and packed it full of tungsten putty made for balancing out your Pinewood Derby car. So gives a little bit more back weight to go ahead and help kind of counterbalance the length of the slide sticking out there and the barrel as well. So that kind of adds a little bit more weight to the gun. But being a fun gun, just kind of a race gun to play with, it doesn't really matter how heavy the gun is overall. I'm never going to carry this, obviously. In the back here, I just went with a kind of a fun back plate. This says Freedom, has a nice ring to it and a bit of recoil. Found that on eBay. Just thought it was kind of funny. You can get a variety of those, as you know. So that is the outside of the gun. Let's go ahead and lock this open, show you it is clear here. And we're going to go ahead and take it off camera because YouTube doesn't like me showing this. And pop the slide off here. And we'll talk about what's done on the underside here. This has a DPM 3-stage recoil system in it, which actually did make it a little bit of a pain to get it to run with this 5-ported barrel. I did have to trim this spring down to get it to cycle properly. So that is the DPM 3-stage system. It has a titanium safety plunger in here with a lighter spring underneath it to go ahead and help smooth out and lighten the take up on the pre-travel of the Timney trigger. And like I mentioned a second ago, it does have a tungsten guide rod with an extended tip on it, and that is in there because I did have a few light strike issues with this gun to start with, and that went ahead and cleared that up to go ahead and fix that so I could have a nice light trigger in it and still get it to go bang. And right there is a look at the Timney trigger. And if you've never seen a Timney trigger or any kind of a Glock, I don't have another Glock here to show you, but this is completely different from the way a regular Glock works. You pull the trigger and it presses down on the little ramp right there, and that's what drops your striker. So it's a pretty cool setup. I've heard it's not exactly carry safe. I don't carry this gun. I don't carry the other gun. They're both competition guns. So if you're not looking to possibly not have your drop safe, you might want to look a little more into that. But I've never had any issues with it. You can bang it around. I've never had it click and go bang. So to each their own there. This is a fun gun, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm going to go ahead and come back over here, put that back together. And really, this is, like I said, not meant to be a serious gun. This is just definitely a fun gun, and that's why I call this gun Gold Member. And if you don't know what that means, or if you've never heard that term, I guess you're probably not old enough and you hadn't seen that movie, and you're probably missing out because it is a pretty funny movie. So look up Gold Member, go watch that movie. And if you know what movie that is without looking it up, go ahead and drop that in the comments there. Just kind of funny there. So that's why I call it Gold Member. It's nice 6-inch gold member. You get it, you know, kind of funny. Let's see here. Got one more thing here. Let me grab here. At some point, I will probably end up putting the Recovery Tactical 2020 here on this gun. I did pick this up from a buddy the other day. He actually gifted this to me. Appreciate that, Jeff. Pretty cool little thing to mess with here. Only thing that kind of bugs me is this is gray. The gun is black. Not a huge deal. I'll probably end up having my buddy over at Beaverdale do some custom work on this and Cerakote it black, maybe do some gold accents on it. Probably somewhere maybe here or right here so you can get it on both sides. We'll go ahead and laser Gold Member on it just because it's kind of funny. Don't really want to do that on the gun in case I ever do want to sell this and somebody doesn't want that on there. They can always take this off. So that would be kind of fun though, just to have it kind of complete the look of the idea behind the gun. But overall, figured I'd go ahead and make a video for Glocktober because this is the only Glock I have, and it's kind of out there. If you can see there, it's kind of in your face, and that's kind of the point of it. Got a 17L slide on it that's gold. Just a fun gun, and figured I'd go ahead and show that to you today, and that's all I had for you today. Okay, if you made it this far, just want to say thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're looking for more FunNGun right now, you can click one of the 2 recommended videos there. If you're looking for more FunNGun later, you can go ahead and click that there subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it. And if you're finding me from Facebook, go ahead and click that open app button at the top to make all that a lot easier, and I'll see you next time.